Hello, true believers. Uh, so it's been a couple weeks since I blogged, and I wanted to reach out to you guys. I don't have another session till after Thanksgiving next week. I usually try to keep them on Thursdays. I don't have one tomorrow. Sorry, today's Wednesday, November 18th. Hope you guys like my Avengers wall down here in the fam cave. Um, and most people have a man cave. I'm a firm believer in being with my family, so we have a fam cave. Uh, so tonight is going to be a little bit different. I want to talk, I want to be transparent about some of the things that have caused my PTSD and all that's gone on to sort of with my trauma and bipolarness, the things that have gone wrong. Um, so this is going to be a very raw uh, thing, conversation, except I'm talking to myself, but discussion. No, anyway. Monologue. There we go. You know, I some of the things that I've dealt with, just no human being should have to deal with. Uh, One of those being that I was four the first time I was told. My mom told me that I was a mistake, um, and that I ruined her life, and uh, I was four and I was asking for some more snack, believe it or not, and my mom yelled that to me. That by far was not the first time. One of the things and these are some of the things that before EMDR I was stuck in those memories. I'm able to talk about them now because of EMDR treatment, which is, I can't preach that enough. If you or someone else is considering it, I highly recommend it. Um, Looks like I need to let Abigail out, so excuse me. Okay. Uh, Go cards. Thought I'd throw that in there. Um, you know, if you've known me for a while, or if you haven't known me, this is how you interact with me. That's fine. Uh, Sometimes I have trouble with people in my personal space. It brings some anxiety. It makes me really nervous. Um, Come on. It makes me kind of nervous when people first sort of approach me and I don't know them. Um, that's due to a couple of different situations. That's Abigail. A couple of different situations of sexual abuse. One from a babysitter, that happened for about 4 years, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right after school. Um, and the other from my oldest aunt, um, which, she sort of laughed at me and told me I needed to toughen up. And again, I was a child, um, and not cry about it. Uh, so it's been tough. If you've known me for a while, one thing that always bothers me. Sorry, I'm trying to see what she's getting into. Is I hate being around balloons. I don't mean the noise of them popping. I just mean I hate being around balloons. One of the reasons is when threatening me or telling me how I needed to do things my mom's way, she would take her cigarette and put it out on a balloon to remind me how hot it is. Um, so I hate even being around, you know, standard rubber balloons, not like Mylar, but it bothers me a great deal. Um, that was usually followed up. This might be kind of hard to see, but I'm going to try. Actually, I'll just kneel down. If you notice my back, I have scars from when I had the chicken pox when I was 21, which in the summertime in Boston is not something I recommend having. And then the other scars are from where my mom would put her cigarette out on my back to punish me. And then I'd get a beating if I cried, when I cried. It wasn't a time I didn't. I'll give you another example of memory that we worked on in EMDR. I was in 4th grade, and one of the reasons I have trouble sleeping. I was in 4th grade, like, any other 10-year-old kid, sleeping at night, and I used to always carry every book in my backpack. I have no idea why. I was so fearful of being late or forgetting something. So this backpack full of books hits me in the head, and I'm waking up as I'm getting screamed at and hit, because my mom found a quiz that had a B on it, and she accused me of lying to her because I hadn't shown it to her. I don't know how a kid hides something that's he puts with his stuff. Funny thing is, then I got in the habit that I didn't want, obviously I didn't want to get hit. I used to hide my B's and C's, and mind you, I've never had B's and C's or my grades. I used to hide them in my comic books because it was one place my mom would never go check. Cause she would go through my room and she would go through my bags and she would destroy my room and then make me clean it up in a certain amount of time. If I didn't, I got beat. You see the point. I hid, and I just found this today because my daughters had asked to read a comic book. I don't think it's coming in too clear. You see, I got a C on it. And when I found this, that's a memory that came back. I was dead. I remember coming home and I was so scared because I knew I was going to get beat. And I'm in high school at this point. I knew I was going to get beat. So I hid it and I started doing that. I started having my comic books. It was one place my mom would never go because she didn't care. She thought it was stupid that I collected them. My father, God rest his soul, he was the one that told me, he's the one that bought my first comic book back because he said, one day you're going to have kids and you're going to want to pass this on to them. And it's so true. All these comic book movies that have come out in the past, 10 years, I've been able to share with my kids through the comic books, and it's a wonderful bonding moment. This was my daily life as far as trauma goes. I'm a parent now, and my wife and I are blessed with 4 wonderful children. We've had 5 pregnancies. One was a miscarriage, and let me just tell you, the strength of a couple is when you spend the night of your 7th wedding anniversary in an ER losing a baby. Sorry, got off track. One of the hard things in dealing with is understanding self-esteem. I was talking with some friends of mine, and they're like, Corey, even if you don't talk to them or say things to members of my family who've always done nothing but beat me down physically, mentally, sexually, that it's easy to you should just forgive them because it's better for my soul. And I said the problem with that is with most people going through abuse, it stops. So it's easy to forgive someone for aggressions that they've done. My problem is, as far as the verbal abuse, it still goes on. I'm getting better with the help of Dr. Davis and discussing things as far as I think I've used the term better tools in my wheelhouse in handling these confrontations now. And I'm kind of going through that this week, and yesterday I was very angry, and actually the past 24 to 36 hours I've been very angry and stressed. You know, started to feel a little pain here, and I have to dial it down since the stress induced heart attack. It's a reminder of, okay, reel it back in, Corey. Um, you know, I've been, like I said, I'm a parent. Damari and I are parents, and we're blessed. And, I always tease her, and it's true. I always tell the kids, I was the first one to hold all four kids before my wife. And I, two of those being C-sections is the obvious answer. There's obvious reason that, why I was. Abigail, no. Was obvious reason, why I was the first person. Um, One of the wonderful things about being the first one to hold my kids is, you get that instant look, and you look at them and you realize you would do anything in the entire world for them to always look at you like the first day they were born. They just look at you with such innocence and wonder and pure love. And they don't even know what love is. They just know, this is the voice that's been talking to my belly. These are the two voices that I've been listening to talk to me in this strange place for so long. And now I get to see them. And, that's the wonderful thing. All four of our kids, I spent a lot of time reading and talking to Damari's belly, and Damari would talk to her belly also. And so it was wonderful that, with all of them, they were, minutes old, and they're trying to open their eyes and squint to see us. You could tell it was a voice recognition thing. I don't understand how anybody looks at their child and say that we're blessed. We planned our kids. We got married first. We planned our kids. If we hadn't planned them, they wouldn't be loved any less. I wouldn't be less proud of them. I wouldn't treat them any different. Abigail, sit. You know better. I can't imagine looking at your child and beating and hitting. And I tried to spank my oldest once when she was younger. Damari still laughs at me about this. I was obviously so afraid of, I'm strong, big guy. I literally pulled the thing. I pulled my punch, so to speak. It's not a punch, like my open hand thing. On her little bottom. She looked at me and laughed and thought we were playing. Damari laughed at me, and we joke about it now. That's just how it's always been. We communicate with our kids, and it's not that we're against spanking. I totally see the point of spanking, but it should never be the first response to something. I remember as a kid, the worst thing I ever said was, this isn't fair. I would say that while I was getting beat, and that only enraged my mom and made it worse. I'm angry about that. I'm angry about being made to feel ashamed for just being a kid. At the time it was just, I thought, well, I'm stupid, I'm unloved, I was obviously a mistake, so this is why I'm being treated this way. I see now I have nothing to be ashamed of. No child deserves that. No child asked to be born, and you should only be ashamed of things you've done wrong. Not You shouldn't be ashamed to be born, and that's how I felt. And I will never let my children feel unloved. I tell them every single day I'm proud of them. We wake up in the mornings, we hug, we kiss, we say good morning, we ask how we slept. It's kind of corny. We we all do that when we go to bed at night. It's a hug, it's a kiss. We go through the ritual, and we say I love you. That's us. That's instilled in all four of our kids. That's how my wife and I are. We always greet with a kiss. We always greet with a hug. We always tell each other we love you, which I'm glad that my kids see that, because that rubs off. There we go, onto them. I just don't understand when I look at my children. Like, I'm 43 years old. I've never been told by my mom she was proud of me. I've never been told I was a good parent. I have been told that my children are smart because they get it from her, uh, or they get it from my aunts. And I'm kind of like, even genetically speaking, you're the last portion. Anybody that's taking basic genetics, the mom's side of, would be the last portion of genetic imprinting, so to speak. Um, and I've just, a lot of the angers come from I've drawn a line in the sand. Uh, I've had to do a hard disconnect, and there's some anxiety there. There's some relief. There's a lot of relief, but there's some anxiety because I know the confrontations that are coming. Um, the anxiety isn't in how I'll handle them. It's just I know they're coming. I guess is probably the thing. I know I can handle them. It's just something's coming. It's kind of like the night before a race. You've trained. You know the race is coming. That doesn't stop you having anxiety. Um, I understand I'm a marathoner, and I probably relate everything to that as I'm wearing a race shirt from, oh man, 2011 Road City 10K, second leg of the Louisville Triple Crown, and this was right before I ran my first marathon. So this is hard, and I want to come clean about this because I want people to understand, if anybody's going through this, if you know anybody that's going through this, it's not your fault. You're not alone. Um, I don't understand, and I understand. I don't understand, but I know that I never will. Uh, it's just, how do you look at a child and not love them? And I mean children in general. How do you look at your own child and not just want them to succeed? I tell my kids all the time. I love the fact they look up to me. Um, as their dad and as a human being, I do love that. But at the same time, I want them to be better than me. Um, Not that I think that something's wrong with me. It's just they're my children. They're my legacy. Why would I not want them to succeed further than what I've done? Um, that's just how I am. I want them to have good self-esteem. It's like, um, two oldest that are in fifth and fourth grade. They had sort of the comprehension test, and my oldest gets in the car and she's like, "You won't believe this, on math and reading, I got 100%. I didn't miss one." And I was like, "I'm so proud of you." And my fourth grader got in and she's like, she had gotten distinguished on two and then gotten novice on one, and she sounded kind of down. And I was like, "Hold on." And I said, "You know what I'm going to ask you?" And she said, "Yes." And I did try my hardest. Said, then I don't care about the grade. You tried your hardest. Never, don't let this get you down or make you not want to try hard next time. And I told her, I said, I'll give you a prime example. I used to get straight A's in math, history, English, science. All of the years I was in school, I'm talking kindergarten up, science was something I just got straight C's in. Um, and I studied, and I would study. I remember freshman year biology. Somehow I got an advanced class in high school, and I still couldn't understand that. Turns out it was my math score, because math and science go well. And I just, spring break, I studied and studied every single day, 10 hours a day. My dad watched it because I knew I had a test coming up. Take the test, feeling okay, get it back next week, I got a C. And I was just down. And of course, my mom sees that and proceeds to tell me how stupid I am and how I need to try harder. And obviously, I'm wasting her time and wasting her money. And I was already feeling like crap. And my dad's like, "Hey, I saw how hard you studied." Hi, Abigail. I saw how hard you studied. I'm more proud of that C from you studying hard than the A's you get in math because it comes easy to you. Um, And that I've always remembered that. Obviously, I'm 43. It was when I was 13, so 30 years. Um, because Abigail, you're following. Because I want my kids to understand that. I want my kids to understand accolades and good grades will come, but when there's no, when there's no crowd or anybody to impress, it's your hard work that's in your character that will carry you, um, and will help you become a better person in a sense anyway. Uh, and it's like I said, I just don't understand. Even Abigail, not even, but Abigail, our dog. I goof with her, but I love her, as you can tell by the fact she's just licking me left and right and wants to sit here. Um, I don't understand how, as I say that, she's right here popping her head up. I just don't understand how uh, there's no love. How do you just hate and abuse this little person that the only thing they want is just love? That's all a child wants from their parents. It's not, and getting love from family shouldn't be a difficult. She's going crazy. A difficult thing. It shouldn't be. Me loving my children is like me loving my wife. It's like me breathing. It just is. It is every second of my day, of my life. It just is. It's not something I have to think about, but it is something I make sure that they know. I, you know, I joke because if you're somebody that I text, odds are at least one time or another we've been in a conversation. I've ended a text with you saying I love you, because that's how I end every single text to my wife. That's how she ends every single text to me. Um, our oldest has a cell phone, and that's how I end every single text with her. That's how she ends every single text with me and my wife. There's been times I've been in the middle of texting somebody and texting my wife and not paid attention. I've sent somewhere and I love you, and I'm always like, and I'm like, sorry. Emails are the same thing. I email my wife and I'm always like, I love you. And they're like, oh, thanks, Corey. And I'm like, sorry. I'm just so used to communicating with my wife. I don't get how, if you're a child, love shouldn't have to be earned. Um, it shouldn't be a chore list. It has to be earned from parents. And I'm just starting, like I said, I'm 43 and I'm just starting to understand that now. So it's a process, and I have a feeling the next few days are probably going to be probably going to make me awfully heated and more, and there'll be some confrontations, and I will probably, depending on my mood and how much I do not want to swear, I'll blog about it some more. Um, so I hope this helps. I really do. And if you have comments, please leave them below, and you can find me on my different social medias. Um, I hope you all, if I don't blog before next week, because we're going to enjoy next week, I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for a lot. I truly am. No matter what's going on, I'm thankful for a lot. So happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and I hope y'all have a wonderful holiday, and get those naps in between grazing food like I plan to. Uh, but stay good, y'all. Okay, and have a wonderful day, guys. Be good to each other.